Studio Hermitage presents Clawmoor Heights, an Our Brilliant Ruin story, created by Rachel J. Wilkinson.
You never were a good liar.
You act as if I'd have some reason to lie to you.
The college doesn't conduct reviews without reason, and it doesn't summon fellows, or masters, for that matter, without cause. You must have a sense.
I may have an inkling.
An inkling? What are you not telling me?
Can we just enjoy the view?
Agatha, please, look at me.
I want to remember what it feels like to look at snow so bright it hurts your eyes. Did you know these mountain peaks are among the few left where you can still find stretches of white, unblighted snow? I heard at Orlavi Pass, the ruin has grown so troublesome, snow falls from the sky already gray.
Which is why I would like to stay in Crown Hall's good graces. We don't want to end up there.
I won't implicate you in any of my wrongdoings.
So, there is some wrongdoing.
I believe there may be a misunderstanding.
Whoa, easy now.
Mind the ice!
You're in fine hands, sir.
And we're forced to take a stagecoach on top of everything else, subjected to this misery.
Last time you enjoyed taking the coach.
Last time, it was summer, and the rail wasn't constantly under repair. A coach ride seemed novel, a lark fitting the season. I didn't expect to risk my life.
We'll be fine.
And let us not forget, it was so you could see the
finest library in the Dramark.
Yes, exactly. Not because Bertram Gates decided to fancy himself a royal. Have I not been a good mentor to you?
You have always been a good mentor, Vivian.
Have I done something to violate your trust?
No, you haven't done anything to violate my trust.
Then you leave me at a loss. Honestly, I am stricken by your lack of confidence in me. I have been with you since your first day as an apprentice, and you were a good apprentice. You've been a good fellow as well. Maybe a bit too curious for anyone's liking, but I never...
Too curious for anyone's liking? What kind of provost prefers their scholars devoid of curiosity?
Nearly all of them.
Whoa! Crown Hall College, Maine.
Master Rossi? Master Vivian Rossi.
Yes, that would be me, with fellow Agatha Quinn in tow.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Umi Novak, apprenticing under Master Gates. He was concerned something had happened to you.
I'm sure he was. Hey, now, careful with those.
Sorry, sir. Won't happen again, sir.
Careful, I said.
We'll handle this and deliver your luggage to your guest chambers. If you would come with me.
You, Mann, if I find any of my belongings damaged, woe betide you, sir. The Piedmont Accord will hear about this.
The Buckgang Overland appreciates your business.
Master Rossi, we really must be...
I heard you the first time.
Pardon him. It's been a long trip.
Master Gates has delayed the proceedings as long as he was able. We really must hurry.
Fine. Go on then. Lead the way.
Master Gates conveys his heartfelt regrets for the difficult journey.
Well, Bertram can keep his regrets to himself. It was no bother. I rather enjoyed the trip, didn't I, Agatha?
Indeed, you did.
Found the crisp mountain air quite refreshing.
Yes, I wonder, apprentice, if Master Gates shared any details on the nature of this inquiry?
Only that he needed me to reserve an anatomy theater for it.
An anatomy theater? Mercy me, what is this about?
Couldn't say, sir. But we've had some additional observers arrive, and he believed this would be the best way to accommodate them.
What does he plan to do? Dissect my protege in front of the entire guild?
No, sir. We've removed the anatomy table so fellow Quinn would have a place to stand that could also accommodate the phonograph.
A phonograph? I insist upon a thorough explanation this instant. What is the nature of this inquiry?
Unfortunately, I'm not aware of the details. But it's just here, sir, if you'd allow me to open the doors.
Go ahead, apprentice. We're ready.
Vivian, fellow Quinn.
Bertram, you better have good reason for this.
Apprentice Novak will take your coats. Vivian, if you will, have a seat. And fellow Quinn, please step into the center behind the railing.
Is that Clawmoor's Dowager Baroness?
Where?
Third row, left side of the gallery.
It appears it is.
Oh, I hope you haven't put me in a position that requires your condemnation.
I acted according to my obligations and my conscience. Whatever happens, please know that.
Agatha, wait. What?
Master Gates, I'm ready.
Let us proceed. Close the doors. Apprentice Novak, if you would ready the phonograph, please.
Of course. It's recording.
Thank you. Present is Miss Agatha Quinn, Crown Hall College historian of the Fellow rank. She was contracted as tutor in residence to the Valgreave family at Clawmoor Heights. Accompanying her is Vivian Rossi, Master Provost at the Rossi Institute for Dramarch History. I am Bertram Gates, Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs at Crown Hall College, Maine, conducting this inquiry. We will examine fellow Agatha Quinn's conduct while at Clawmoor Heights. Master Rossi may assist his fellow historian and offer insights when applicable. After examining several troubling reports, we requested fellow Quinn's presence to address the allegations. The statements suggest Agatha Quinn took advantage of the Valgreave's generosity to pursue personal interests and grievances, as well as conduct unsanctioned research. Not just any research, mind you. Alarmingly, she involved the family in her experiments with ruin.
Ruinology? This is absurd.
Silence! Silence, please!
This is a farce. Agatha is no more a ruinologist than you are a scholar.
I will have calm in this room.
Agatha, tell him this is preposterous.
I said I will have calm.
For the sake of us both, sit down and do as he asks.
Just say you didn't do it.
Please, Vivian, sit down.
I don't understand.
Silence, please. As we know, colleagues, quiet. As we know, unsanctioned experiments with ruin go against the prevailing wisdom of this guild. Fellow Quinn, you are aware that a breach of the college's ethics and expectations will result in loss of rank and ejection from this guild. You will be unbonded.
I am aware, yes.
Good. Why don't you start by telling us how you came to be at Clawmoor Heights?
About 4 months ago, Lord Tiberius Valgreave, Baron of Clawmoor, required a tutor with historical knowledge of the region and his family. As part of Master Rossi's institute, I was well versed in the Valgreave family's rise and had even studied their acquisition of Clawmoor Heights. So, Master Rossi wrote to the Baron, and he agreed to bring me to Clawmoor. My first lessons in history were ghost stories. My parents worked as domestic Truefolk for a handful of aristocratic estates, and nothing gave my siblings and me as much pleasure as nights spent by the fire, listening to the grisly tales of old royals and the ghosts they left behind. As kids, we assumed all the Sovereign Era manors were haunted, and Clawmoor Heights was no exception. The moorland mist was thick as wool on the day of my arrival. Across the heath it drifted, revealing wild heather past its bloom, with the last hints of purple flowers clinging to its stems. From that fog, an iron gate materialized before me, and as we passed between its stone pillars, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was crossing a threshold of sorts. I wondered if it was my eagerness to finally touch what I had only studied from afar, or if the source of my unease was simply a gust of brisk autumn air. As the carriage pulled closer, Clawmoor Heights came into view. It was 3 stories tall with tidy rows of symmetrical windows, giving it a dignified and stately demeanor. It reflected well what I had come to know about the Valgreaves. But its weathered stone facade cast a pervading gloom over the home, as forlorn as the moors themselves. Gunshots and the smoky, sweet aroma of burning leaves drew my attention.
Welcome to Clawmoor Heights, Miss Quinn. We are honored to have you with us.
Thank you, Mr.
Crispin, ma'am.
Thank you, Kristen. Have I arrived during a shooting party?
Ruin clearing, ma'am. We're expecting guests to celebrate Lady Josephine's engagement announcement.
Oh, how lovely! I consider the timing of my arrival my good fortune.
Indeed, ma'am. Perry,
Yes, sir.
please take Miss Quinn's luggage inside and show her to her room.
Happy to. Right this way, miss.
Please, call me Agatha.
Will do, as soon as we're out of Mr. Crispin's earshot.
I needn't remind you, Perry, that I am never out of earshot. Miss Quinn will suffice.
As you say, as you say. Allow me to show you inside, Miss Quinn.
Please do. Thank you.
Your room is on the 2nd floor, above the North Library.
The North Library. Doesn't that overlook the reflecting pool?
It does. How did you know?
I'm familiar with the floor plan. I studied Clawmoor.
Right, sorry. Crown Hall. You must have come across the story of the Montballons in your research.
I have.
Is what happened to them true?
That the family drowned? Mm-hmm.
A couple of maids told me that during the new moon, on the darkest nights, the reflecting pool ripples as if the Montballons are trying to escape their watery grave.
And they say on those nights when the wind blows just right, you can still hear their cries. What was that?
That was Vesper, the Baroness's favorite cat.
You'd do well to beware the displeasure of either. Their claws are equally sharp.
Mr. Kirazar, what has you skulking the halls this afternoon? Did your ledgers grow as weary of your company as we do?
Perry, what a thing to say.
While I'm grateful for your courtesy, ma'am, small men with little fortune do not concern me.
Gracious. Well, if my options are to stand between the two of you or press my luck with Vesper, I think I'll go with the cat.
My apologies for the interruption, fellow Quinn. Lord Clawmoor has asked me to fetch you.
Do I at least have time to show her to her room?
We will not keep Lord Clawmoor waiting, no. I'll deliver her afterward.
I guess that's that, then. It was nice meeting you, Miss Quinn. I hope we'll get the chance to bump into each other again.
Me as well, Perry. Thank you. Mr. Kirazar, it appears I am in your hands.
This way. While you are a guest, you will prioritize Lord Clawmoor's wishes over any others, including your own.
I would come to learn that Mr. Renwick Kirazar was a Piedmont Accord agent contracted by the Baron to protect the Valgreave family's financial interests. He was a serious man who favored suits in dreary hues that contributed to the sense of turbulent austerity that surrounded him. Because of his elevated position, Lord Tiberius provided him special accommodations and privileges, which contributed to animosity between he and the domestic staff. And I realized my position could cause a similar complication.
Are you suggesting, Miss Quinn, that Lord Tiberius Valgreave was to blame for your indiscretions at Clawmoor because he favored you with a private guest room? Should the Baron have shoved you into a corner, like a common maid from the Glove and Key, rather than treat you as the Crown Hall scholar you are?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I mean is from the moment I arrived, I was a person without a place. I wasn't an aristocratic guest of Lady Josephine's invited to celebrate her engagement, nor was I bound by the same expectations of domestic service. So, noting the tension between Renwick Kirazar and the staff, I needed to be mindful of where I stepped.
Let's move on to your meeting with the Baron.
I knew Lord Tiberius Valgreave had been ill for the better part of a year, but I was unprepared for his condition. When Renrik Kirazar delivered me to Lord Valgreave's den, I thought I was alone. Or at least as alone as one could be surrounded by the Baron's hunting trophies. Stag heads mounted on the walls watched me as I perused animal horns, tusks, and skulls. In a corner by a window, a flock of lifeless taxidermy birds perched on the branches of a gnarled tree. A raven with deep black eyes caught my attention and drew me closer. I realized its eyes were made of a polished obsidian rather than glass. Intrigued, I reached to touch one when a low growl broke the silence.
Nala, hush.
Turning, I saw that Lord Valgreave had been there the entire time, hidden by the wingback of his Estrada chaise. He was diminished. Withered, you could say. It was difficult to reconcile the hunter I had studied with the ailing man in front of me. The only color to his face was what the fire could provide, and his knotted hand trembled as he pet the foxhound resting beside him.
Pay no mind to my girl, Miss Quinn. She's always been protective of me.
My lord, my deepest apologies. I would never have presumed
Oh,
to...
no, I'll have none of that ruffle strut, at least in private. How was your trip?
These mountains are beautiful.
Second only to Falconcliff. And this is Nala.
Hello, Nala. May I?
Of course, yeah, for a bit of meat.
Perhaps I'll make a friend of her yet.
Oh, she's old, like me. Old and...
Can I get you something?
It's brandy on the bar cart over there.
Here.
Oh.
Are you all right?
That is the question of the hour. Nguyen Rossi tells me you're an expert on my home.
I don't know that I'd call myself an expert, but I've studied Clawmoor.
You know who built it?
Norma Wilfred Scott during the Sovereign era.
How did my family come to acquire it?
Your great-grandmother murdered the Montballons and took it.
Huh. Well, that's a bold accusation.
But is it an incorrect one?
No, I suppose not. She was likely responsible for the death of the Earl, his wife, and their 2 children.
One child. The youngest was never found.
Quite right. You know my uncle killed a man in that courtyard as well.
Sir Templeton didn't die in the courtyard.
My uncle stabbed him in a duel.
Your uncle did stab him, but he died 3 months later, in his own bed, from the infection that followed.
Fine. You'll do. Sit.
Thank you.
I have 3 children. 2 from my first marriage, Josephine and Stellan. Another from my second, Lucas. I am clearly dying, but I have yet to declare an heir. Lucas is too young. Stellan is loyal, but he doesn't have the temperament. Josephine would make a very good baroness and would be my choice, but she wants nothing to do with this house. She'd rather sell it to the Darras. The Darras, of all people. For the ore deposits underneath the estate.
And you believe the Darras would demolish the house?
Of course they would. They'd tear the Drammock in half if it meant turning a profit. All the history of this place, all the blood and tears the Valgreaves have put into it, all cast aside for greed.
Surely it's more than greed.
Whatever it is just loyal.
I didn't mean to upset you.
I'm not upset. I'm desperate. The doctors gave me a month to live 3 months ago.
Is it ruin?
No. Just regular, normal, lethal dying. The blood cough.
I'm sorry for what you're going through.
No one escapes the grave.
Then what can I do for you, Lord Clawmoor?
I need you to teach Josephine about this place, why this house matters, how being a Valgreave means acting as a custodian of this land, Clawmoor Heights, and the people we employ.
And if I can secure her commitment?
If you secure her commitment, I will sponsor your promotion to master with Crown Hall College. You won't have to pay a single mark out of your own pocket.
That's very generous of you.
That's the carrot.
Which suggests there's a stick.
If you fail in earning Josephine's agreement, I will purchase your mentor's gambling debts and take his Institute of History away from him.
Pardon?
Vivian, his gambling debts. For all your salacious little morsels you know about my family, you didn't know that your mentor was a rabid gambler?
I suppose not.
An absolute punter, in debt to the Dorcher for more than his institute sees in a year.
As much as I sympathize, I won't be threatened. I appreciate your generosity, but I must regretfully decline your contract. I'll have Kristen show me out.
Walk out that door, and I'll take the school regardless.
You wouldn't.
I have spent a lifetime doing terrible things for the sake of my family. This will be no different.
You dress up spite and call it family.
Spite has nothing to do with it. I simply have no time.
Then time appears to be as merciless as you. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Wait! Wait! Just a moment. What about another carrot for a wary hare?
I'm all ears.
If you succeed, I'll settle your mentor's debts with the Dorcher. I'll see that Raymond takes care of it. You'll have the funds you need to pursue mastery, and Vivian will be free of the sharks, his institute intact. Nala seems to think it's a good bargain. What do you say, Miss Quinn?
It seems my hands are tied.
Then let us indulge in the illusion of choice.
Very well. I agree to your terms. Josephine Valgreave will be the next Baroness of Clawmoor Heights.
Clawmoor Heights stars Kate Siegel, Indira Varma, Byron Mann, Shannon Uphold, Jay Sullivan, Sean Patrick Judge, and Jovan Jackson. Written and directed by Rachel J. Wilkinson. Original music composition by Brian Michael Fuller. Recorded by Mark Zamora. Sound design by Kay Wilder and Rachel J. Wilkinson. Mix and mastering by Brian Michael Fuller. Clawmoor Heights is a Studio Hermitage production. Visit us at ourbrilliantruin.com.